Hello everyone, not dead yet here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. As you can see, I am decked out in Irish garb with the Irish hat, the Irish tie, the Irish boxing shorts, and as well as the old-timey boxing t-shirt. Why? Because that is what we are talking about today. Old-timey Irish boxing. More specifically, the old-timey Irish boxing stances. Yes, plural. There's this one, and then there's this one. Right? And these are actually originally not Irish boxing stances, but English boxing stances by the Queensberry rules, but don't tell Irishmen that. Oh, and before the video starts, one thing quickly, before anyone tries to slam me with her cultural appropriation or some shit like that, I'm actually 1/4 Irish. I've said that in multiple videos. Oh wait, who am I kidding? No one cares about the Irish. They're light-skinned. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into the, let's talk about the Irish boxing stance now, shall we? Why this? A lot of people would think, like, this is really counterintuitive. Why the hell do you have your head up so much? And why are your hands so far away from your body? Well, actually, Irish boxing was originally a lot closer to bare-knuckle fighting and was arguably safer than boxing nowadays. How is that possible? Well, because they fought bare-knuckle. How is bare-knuckle safer than regular boxing now? Because you can't punch to the head without breaking your hand. I've actually had a lot of people talk to me. A lot of my fighter friends think that we should actually remove gloves from boxing and just fight bare-knuckle again, very similar to BKFC, because that is actually safer. You'll have more broken hands, but less concussions. Which you could definitely have an argument could definitely be made for that, considering old-timey boxing stances like this were meant to protect the body, not the head. The head is far away from where the fighting would generally be. You have your right hand here to protect your body, and then you have your arm out here to kind of jab and keep your opponent away. Very similar to stances like this or like this that are used in modern boxing nowadays, that tall people use to keep shorter fighters out of range. This hand was also prone to be used to help grapple and manipulate an opponent, much like people like Thomas Hearns or George Foreman used back in the day, just adapting the principles of old-timey boxing into the modern times. So that explains the kind of basic, like, yep, let's go, Queensberry rules type fighting style. But what about the old, like, come on, put him up, let's go, why like this? Why did they move like this, right? That is actually down to, again, not breaking your hand. Because, again, if you were to take a solid punch right to your dome, you're more likely to do more damage to the opponent's hand than it is to your head. In fact, in old-timey bare-knuckle boxing, one of the ways to actually protect yourself or defend against your opponent was to tilt your head down like this and take a shot directly to your cranium. Your skull is a very, very thick part of your body. It's made to protect one of the most important things you have, your brain. So it is meant to take hits. And when fist meets skull, skull is most likely going to win. So yeah, they didn't actually punch head on like that. They would punch like this. They would flick the wrist out and hit the person with these two knuckles more often than not on the bridge of their nose, and they'd fight like that. Boom, bam, 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 bam. And that is actually where the speed bag comes in. So when you see in like old-timey cartoons where people go like this and kind of bobble the guy's head like a speed bag, that's actually how combos would work. They get up and they just... I don't have a lot of space here, but you'll see. They'll be... and they just flick the wrist out, because this motion here, in doing that, if you catch those two knuckles on the bridge of your nose, you'll break the opponent's nose, but you won't break your hands. Now, why are they always so low? Why are they fighting down here like this? You can't really see my legs, but, you know, this is me standing tall. This is me, like, squatting. I'll put a picture up on screen of the stereotypical, you know, squat that they do. Why so low? Well, that just plays into the whole game of heights, right? Especially when we go into stereotypes of Irishmen being short. Shorter fighters get shorter, taller fighters get taller, right? Which is, again, why they have these two stances, because it's based on height and fighting style. The taller fighters would probably be more stood up like this, with their arms out, and the shorter fighters would be down here like this. But why would they squat so low, and why would they be like that? Well, it allows for more leverage when you pull back. Irish boxing is based a lot around, I am willing to take a powerful shot in order to give you an even more powerful shot. And Irish boxing was not the safest. They would do things like, obviously, iron fist training, which is essentially just punching something until your knuckles callus over into these massive lumps, called boxer's knuckle. I have boxer's knuckle to a certain extent, but not as bad as some of the stuff that I've seen. But also they would do things like dip their hands in petrol or gasoline over and over until their hands would feel like concrete. You would like rub their hands and it would literally feel like cement. So the principle of that is applied with this. So they'd be really low and they'd be leaning forward like this with their head out to try and goad people into giving them a punch, right? And then when the punch would come, they would pull back and use this motion here to turn it into an uppercut. And so they'd be like this, and then boom, boom, right? And so that is actually a principle that is still used in modern boxing today, the whole pull back into a punch, because what that does is allows multiple things. The whole sticking your neck out there pisses your opponent off. Pulling back adds the momentum of you pulling back into your punch and actually makes that uppercut even stronger. And in pulling back, if you do get hit by something, you're pulling away, you're moving with the punch, and you are taking away most of the force dealt that would have been dealt to you by that punch. So, that's about it. That's why they fought like that. It was to basically protect their hands. Most of the time, the body was what they would aim for. The head was not really a target, so they didn't have their hands up by their head. They would keep their head far away from the fight, unless they were going to use a specific move, like putting it out as a target, leaving their chin out, because again, the chin is a lot more fragile than your cranium, pulling back and throwing an uppercut to the body, hoping to take the person down. So, hope you learned something about old-timey Irish boxing. Hope I could give you a bit of a demonstration. I do not have a lot of room here. At the very least, I hope the video was entertaining. If it was, hit like, subscribe, you know what to do. But until next time, I'm not dead yet, and if you aren't either, there's always a tomorrow waiting for you.